A quarter life crisis might be the best thing that ever happens to you.
Everything's far away.
So when we were kids, we were always told what to do, where to go, how to spend our time, and that's not a bad thing, especially as a kid. Like, you just spawned in life, and you don't have the maturity to figure that by yourself. But that made us so excited to grow up. That's what we were told. You finish high school, you go to college, you get a job, get married, buy a house or whatever, and then finally live your own life. That's the script that we've been given. But then you get to your 20s, you just finished college, and then get the job you've been praying for. And then a year or two goes by, and you're just like, wait, what? Is this gonna be the rest of my life? I wake up, I go to work from 9 to 5, come back home, maybe go to the gym, and then with the little time left in the day, try to do something entertaining like play video games or read a book or eat, and then go to bed just to get a good night's sleep, to not be like a zombie at work the next day. This might be a comfortable life, but then you see some of your seniors at work that have been working for like 10, 20, or even 30 years. They just seem so dead on the inside. Like they don't have a soul. Not all of them, of course. But you're like, is this my future? Is this the freedom that I was waiting for? Something ain't right. And this is when you're hit with a quarter life crisis. So, over the past few years, there's been a ton of research on this. Turns out over 75% of people go through the quarter life crisis. So it's common. And with social media constantly showing us the highlight reels of everyone else's life, it makes our day-to-day feel kind of stuck, like we're falling behind, like something is missing. But here's the thing, a crisis isn't always a bad thing. In fact, it might be the best thing that ever happens to you. Did you know the Japanese word for crisis is made up of two characters, danger and opportunity? That's just so beautiful, because that's what this is. This is a turning point. You're in danger, but you have the chance to change your life for the better. It's the shift from extrinsic motivation, doing what society expects, to intrinsic motivation, living from within, having motivation from within. So how do we get through this? So according to the research, the quarter life crisis has 5 distinct phases, and you gotta go through them in order to really come out on the other side. Phase 1, locked in. So this is where it starts. Everything might look fine on the outside, your job, your relationships, your lifestyle, but something inside feels off. You're uncomfortable, unfulfilled. It's like you're playing a role that doesn't fit anymore. You feel locked in, and that disconnect can lead to compulsive habits, endless gaming, doom scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, porn, partying, substances. You're chasing dopamine because you feel trapped. But here's the twist. That discomfort, that's good. Hold on to it. If you were fully content, you'd never have a reason to change. So this discomfort, that is the catalyst. Then you get into phase 2, separation. You realize the life you're living isn't aligned with who you are. But now there's an element of fear. You've always invested years into your degree, your job, your relationship. You just feel stuck between two worlds. Your old life doesn't fit, but you don't really have a new one yet. You're kind of like in a limbo. So this phase feels like an identity vacuum. And it's tough. You're filled with guilt, anxiety, sadness, but it's necessary to go through this. Phase 3, aka the time skip arc. So you know those moments in anime where the character disappears for a while and then they come back leveled up, stronger, wiser, more in tune with themselves? Yeah, this is that. You know, time skip arcs are one of my favorite aspects of anime because of this. Because they show you that you need to separate to truly grow in all aspects in your life. So in real life, this might look like traveling, moving cities, quitting your job, starting therapy, just re-evaluating everything in your life to truly zoom out and see your life clearly and understand where you fit in the world. So it's kind of like a pause button on the script that you've been given, and you're stepping outside of the system to truly understand. Phase 4, exploration. So now you start rebuilding, but not by finding your true self, because that's a myth. You can't find your true self, quote unquote, because you don't know what your true self is. So instead, you start creating a self that aligns with your values. You experiment, you try new things, make mistakes even, and then reflect and repeat. You're no longer living your life reactively, you're exploring intentionally. So this is where you start figuring out, what do I really care about? What kind of life actually resonates with me? Final phase, rebuilding. Now that you've broken free from the script, it's time to build a life that feels authentic. You're not living for validation or external rewards anymore. You're driven by purpose, by alignment. Your actions reflect your values, and your goals come from within, not from external factors. You've stopped performing and started living, and this is when you can say you live an authentic life. And it starts with the crisis. That's how it all starts. The crisis that made you question everything. So here's the thing. Going through a quarter-life crisis isn't just about surviving your 20s. It's about preventing a full-blown midlife crisis later on. See, our generation is evolving mentally, emotionally, and spiritually way earlier than the ones before us. Why? Because we've got access to everything. Podcasts, books, YouTube deep dives, therapy, Reddit, the whole internet. We're swimming in perspectives, and that kind of exposure forces you to confront deep questions early, like, who am I really? What kind of life do I want? What does success actually mean to me? And because we're asking those questions now, in our 20s, we're not waking up at 45 with a nice car, a mortgage, and a fat paycheck, but feeling spiritually bankrupt. Instead, we're doing the inner work early. We're shedding the scripts, confronting the discomfort, and rebuilding from within now. And yeah, it's messy, and it's confusing, and it's painful sometimes, but it's real, and it's worth it. Because when you do this work now, you create a life that's aligned with your true values and not someone else's values. So while other people might hit their 40s wondering where the last 2 decades went, you'll be grounded, you'll be intentional, you'll be free. So if you feel that you're in a quarter-life crisis right now, just keep in mind, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. A quarter-life crisis is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. And yeah, I guess that's it. So make sure to like and subscribe down below. And if you have any thoughts or ideas about this topic or any other topic, feel free to write them down in the comments. And see you.